Hello fellow cyborgs, and welcome to another Hindsight is 2020 video where I tell you about some books, in this case comics and graphic novels that I want to reread. I recently hauled volume 2 of Pretty Deadly, so I want to reread volume 1. This is by Kelly Sue DeConnick, Emma Rios, with colors by Jordi Belair, edits by Sigrid Ellis, and letters by Clayton Cowles. I think that's how you pronounce that name. So this is a very deathy graphic novel that's also beautifully illustrated, and I think it has stories and stories if I remember correctly as well. It also has a Wild West setting, but it's very fable-esque. So looking forward to rereading this and then finally getting to volume 2 5 years later. Calvin and Hobbes was a fairly recent discovery into my brain world, and a delightful one. This was the first collection of, I don't know what these collections are called, but this was the first of the Calvin and Hobbes collections that I purchased and read. And I remember this being hysterical, lovely and adorable, and so funny and smart and clever. And I want to reread some Calvin and Hobbes, and I want to start with my favorite volume. So looking forward to getting back to this feel-good comic. This is Nimona by Noelle Stevenson, which had quite a booktube thing back in the day. And I read this because one of my friends recommended it to me and told me I needed to buy it, so I did. I remember enjoying this. I remember it being medieval, but also then having some high-tech things, so it's this weird, like, anachronistic thing. And I remember Nimona being a shapeshifter and they eat pizza, but I don't remember very much more, and I'm not sure how I'd feel about it now, so I want to reread it and see what I think. The Arrival by Sean Tan has gotten quite some buzz on BookTube, and I did really love this silent graphic novel, so there's no text at all when I first read it, so much so that I bought my own copy. And I had since read quite a bit of Sean Tan's other stuff from the library and have mostly enjoyed that as well. Sean Tan just seems to be pretty awesome. I haven't reread this ever though, so I want to reread it this year and see if I still love The Arrival. And finally we have Thunder and Lightning, Whether Past, Present, Future by Lauren Redness. I read her graphic biography of Marie Curie, which is called Radioactive. I got that from the library, and then saw this in the bookstore and decided to buy it, and I remember being really blown away by this graphic nonfiction. I'm really excited to reread this because I've only read it once, and I'm also thinking that this will count toward one of the Curious Adventure prompts, which is a nonfiction reading challenge for 2020. I'll link that down below. So I'm really looking forward to rereading this. I remember it, I think it's split into 5 sections, and the first section has to do with a flood that washes out a cemetery and having to deal with these caskets just like suddenly that have been unearthed. And also I remember a section about how the US used weather in the Vietnam War. And I was like, they can do that? So I'm eager to reread this graphic nonfiction. So those are 5 comic/graphic novels that I want to reread sometime soon. So I will report back when I have done so. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, continue to be lovely. One of the first sections has to do with a flood, like, up